Welcome to tonight's session on Katame no Kata. This is the first of three sessions we have. If you know Katame no Kata, it consists of three sets or three categories. The first one being Osai Komi Waza, which are the hold down techniques. The second being Shiden Waza, which is strangulation techniques. And the third is Consensu Waza, which is the locks, Bulk of the time we will spending on the first set because each Osai Komi technique actually involves three separate sub-techniques. You're going to be doing three escapes. If you look at the competition rules for this kata, they do not define what those three are in the competition rules, what three escape techniques are. However, they are found in the Kodokan textbook. So if you're looking at the Kodokan textbook, you will find those escapes. Those escapes are prescribed. In other words, in competition, you're expected to do those three escapes. On the Tori side, the reaction to those three escapes is variable. That is not defined. So at the same time, though, having said that, they are kind of expected. Those are expected reactions, but nothing to say that you can't modify your reaction as long as it looks natural. So the whole thing with Katame no Kata is to make sure that everything looks natural and logical. Okay, we'll look at some of those things a little more in detail later.
So, the escapes, the reaction that you're going to see from Tori is expected but not cast in stone. Okay, you can modify it, again, as long as it looks natural. All right, so just to get us started, well, actually a little more history on this one. This kata goes back to 1885. When it was established, and is Nagi no Kata forms one of the Randori no Kata. So you heard of the Nagi no Kata, this is the Katame no Kata, so this is all part of the Randori no Kata. Okay? And you'll find in this kata when we do the Osai Komi that it's a bit of a give and take. In other words, if you crunch down really hard on the person and the person can't even breathe, then you're not going to be able to demonstrate the three escapes. So in kata, you have to be a team between you and Tori. You have to have enough give leeway to demonstrate the action and the reaction, but at the same time, not be too loose that it's not realistic. So it's a bit of a balancing act, and depends on your partner how much tension you want to display. But the goal is to demonstrate action, reaction. And the other things that we often hear about in Osai Komi hold down techniques is to use your whole body. In other words, we're trying to maximize the use of our body to get the most power we can. This involves, again, three escapes, so often the escapes look similar, and I'll probably put a label on some of the techniques so that if you hear me yelling it out, that's what I kind of mean you should be trying to do. All right, so just to get started, we're going to just do a couple of drills from the uke side of things, and we'll have you all do this. But before we start, I'm just going to demonstrate what you're going to be doing. All right, we'll have you on your back to start off with, and the first one is shrimp. Everybody probably heard shrimp before, but the main thing with shrimp is I want to see the hips going out to the side. Right now I'm flat on my back. That's not where you spend most of the kata when you're trying to escape. You're going to be moving from one side generally to the other side. So you need to show that your hips are moving outwards. And we're not just staying on our back like a turtle trying to wobble back and forth. We want to see some real action. So you bring your feet closer to your hips so you can really push out. Your hands will go toward your feet, so then this is the shrimp shape that you want to emulate. Back to back, reset, out again. So you can do this solo, right on the spot. Don't have to do it in the line drill, although you can. This is just to get you used to getting off your back. Get off your back, come back, get off your back, push the hip out. The second one I want you to do is the bridging action. The bridging is going across into the corner. So you're going to be basically trying to reach as far over to the diagonal corner as you can. And the same thing the other side, reach over to the other side again. Try to elevate your hips, so again when you're reaching, you're flat, not flat on your back, but you're actually lifting up this part so that the person will fall off to the corner. So aim for the diagonal corner as far as you can, up the hip as high as you can. Okay, so those are the two drills to start off with from a nuke point of view, and then I'll show you two other ones that you could try as well. Okay, so just spread out and just start off with a few, maybe 5 shrimps and then 5 bridges on each side. The next one I want you to do is a couple of rolls, flips, all right? Flips, I guess, just for the sake of their name. One is to flip over your shoulder, one side shoulder. Okay? So we're going to go on our back and basically go from here and flip forward to our front and then flip back. So you're just rolling over one shoulder. Okay? So that's, you can do that on either side. The second one is a back flip. So from this position here, what I want you to do is go all the way over onto your front. And then you can roll all the way back, but this is rolling down the center line, flipping right over. Okay? Again, I have tight hips right now, but I'm sure a younger person could do that with no problem. All right, so let's try those 2 flips, the shoulder flip and the back flip.
Do you want the back flip from laying flat on your back?
Yeah, you can have a little bit of wind up, but don't come right up to the sitting position. Just push off your legs and tip over.
Okay.
All right, the last one I want to practice is I refer to as a dig. The first one will be a knee dig. So on this one we do basically our shrimp action, but then our bottom leg that's on the mat side is going to thrust ahead with a knee. So this is a knee dig. In other words, we're trying to go from here to here. Get the shrimp out, and we're going to push our hip and our knee ahead to try to get the knee dig. The second one is a hand dig. And on this one, you're going to take your one hand and go across your body and twist towards the diagonal corner so that you end up on your front. Okay, so we're just twisting ourselves to try to get to our front. Hand going across, firm hand here, nice and solid, so that we're trying to push through with that hand. Okay, so hand dig versus knee dig. So first, knee dig versus hand dig. So we're trying to push ourselves through into the diagonal corner. You thrust your knee as far as you can into the corner. Okay. Drive to the head. So we're to the head. Shrimp. Yeah. And now we're going to just thrust this ahead.
Okay, so shrimp.
Yeah.
And then from there,
Thrust your right knee ahead. Yeah.
so, okay.
Or you could just do a little shrimp with like the roll on the slide, but then right away thrust that knee ahead. Tori, you're the doer. You're the one that's reacting to these things. I want you to try a little simple drill. Often if you got the crosshairs of a tatami, that's nice. But basically, start off in tabletop position here. You could be in a low tabletop position here. But what I want you to do is slide your hip into this diagonal corner by sitting through into the Kata position. Okay? So you're now in this position. Bring your back leg over and end up back in the Shiho position. Okay? So Shiho is when you're facing chest downwards. Kesa, of course, you know, the scaffold, that's that one. After you get back to this position, I want you to go reverse. So rather than our usual circle, I want you to sit through here and then flip back into tight Shiho position, counting Shiho position there. Okay, so sit through, flip around, sit through, flip around. So you end up back where you started. Tabletop, right position, and then sit through. Then bring your back your knee around. So now you've gone.
Actually, you do a full 180?
180.
Okay.
And then come back to a bridge of 180. So sit through.
To here.
Okay. See it all? Okay, now reverse it. Reverse it. Spin around. Yeah.
What do you mean by reversing it? Are you always
To the left
going?
instead of the right.
The what?
Just go left and then go right.
Come back
There
to
you
the
go.
direction you came from. So make sure you push your hip into the other quadrant there. Push your hip
Yeah.
in.
Do you not want to do a full circle, then
No.
switch it around? So
No.
you're doing half and then only going half,
No,
and
and
then
Go
going
back the
back?
other way.
Not today, so I'm mixing it up on you.
Okay.
Not doing the 360 on this.
Okay, so 180.
The last one is a simple post exercise. When I say post, it's basically blocking with a hand or a leg. So when you're doing this one, you're going to start off in a square position here and just post this leg out. So you're blocking it in that direction. And then come back and post the other side out. So it's just a 1, 2, posting side to side on this one. Okay, that's a leg post. The hand post is really nothing to practice. Later on, you'll be able to just post your hand out to the side to stop the direction. But it's a leg stretch that I want you to do. The leg post should have relatively straight leg here with the knee down. And if you got the flexibility, this should really spread apart so your hip comes right down to the ground, close to the ground. Okay? I don't have the great flexibility, so right now my butt is pretty high. If I had the ability to split this away, then I would be a lot lower. I don't really want you to split it inwards. Again, try to get your hip down low. Try to do it the other way. Split the groin apart. Okay? Leg posts, one side to the other.
Here.
Slide to the other side. And back to this side. Get back and forth. Normally you just do some of the basic warm-up ones. There's other ones that you can do, but as we go through the techniques, you'll see some of the modifications or the reactions of Tori or the reaction or the initiation by okay. So let's take a look at the very first technique. Now we're going to forego all the opening ceremony things, all the talk about what we call shiko or the knee walking. That will be for another class, another session. We're going to spend all our time on the Osai Koni Waza tonight. All right, so we're going to assume that Uke is lying on his back and Tori is going to come in and apply the technique. So we're going to go right away into going right beside the person and applying the, I guess it's a basic home kiss of Katame.
Take the kazooie.
The cupping of the shoulder? Yeah. Okay. Because I know officially they called it originally that.
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
basic.
Yeah, and it never has been. So.
Yeah. Okay, so officially this is a modified scarf hold, but depending on the literature you will see whether it's a hon or a kazuri, but it doesn't matter. Okay? Yeah, okay, I get to lie down, and when I lie down, the formal way is to have your shoulder in line with the tape, if that is, and your left knee up in the air. Okay, the left knee up in the air is often dictated by where your big toe ends up against your foot, so that way it'll be constant. If you always have to adjust, then your partner doesn't know where that knee will be. So just get in the habit of using your big toe and that ankle area as your measuring spot, so you get the right spot there.
So for the application of all of the hold downs, it's just good basic judo. It's stuff you already know, but that's what kata is. It's just basic principles. So to put on a kazuri kizukata, I'm going to take the arm, control it under my arm, and hold on here. Other arm goes under and cups the shoulder, and I sit up nice and high into the armpit. Here, just like you teach the kids class, nothing different than that.
So right now, Tori is applying a lot of rib pressure. His rib against my rib is exerting a lot of pressure downward. Also, again, he's got this arm nicely trapped with his armpit, so it's a fairly good hold down position, and he has balance with his legs and his hip position. Okay, let's look at the escape number one. Number one involves Tori, and I'll just do the slow motion here. I have to start to shrimp and go after this elbow. So I'm going to shrimp and try to hook the elbow area here. I don't want the triceps, I want the elbow. And I'm also going to use my other hand to get the elbow as well. Once I have that elbow locked, I'm going to bridge the opposite direction. So I go from a shrimp to a bridge. So again, I'm going to go here and turn my partner over and end up on top. Okay? So the leverage comes from the elbow joint of Tori. I'm trying to pull that elbow, and basically it's like an arm lock type of thing.
If you do it right, yeah, almost have to go because you're being arm locked.
Okay, so that's the number one escape, prescribed escape from. Okay, let's look at the other side of what the Tori reaction would be.
As Bert mentioned, Tori has got a bit more flexibility in what they do, but I tend to see Tories do roughly about the same thing. There. So he goes for the arm. Now, a lot of Tories will put the arm down it, but that's more just for balance. I want to try to block with the foot. The Gord's rolling me that way, so I'm going to block with my foot that way. There, because now it's right in the direction of the way he's trying to roll me, and I stopped it. If I didn't have his foot there. There, he's going to get me.
Okay, so the bridge will take you and make you react, Tori react. Okay, and this is where you experiment. If Tori doesn't quite get the right angle, like Kelly said, the foot doesn't come around very far, then you're not going to be able to stop the person. If you have the flexibility and the low hips, then you'll be able to block it with a nice strong leg post here, and you notice that Kelly also did a hand post with his right hand. So he went from cupping the shoulder into a hand post as well. So double posting, and that's allowed, right? That's okay. The main objective is to stop the escape attempt by number one.
And we can't let go of the other hand, right? Like I sometimes do.
Yeah. So it's constantly maintaining control of this hand. Initially, I was able to dip my elbow a bit, but I'm not able to fully extract that arm. Okay? If I don't dip, then I can only reach his tricep up here, and that's not going to give me the leverage that I want. So you really have to make sure that you go after the elbow, and again, use your whole body. So once I'm in this position here, I'm not just using my hands, but I try to lock it in place, and then use my body to do the pulling. So my hands are just locked in place. They're not really doing all the work other than just holding on. Okay, so the turning of the body gives you use of your whole body and generating more strength. Okay?
But it's just like this.
But then not just sort of leave it underneath and then
What do you have to do, particularly if you're a sloucher, you have to find this way in the majority as well. You got to float. If I latch myself on you, you will float. I try to get that number.
Okay, ready?
No, I can grab really that.
So what I have to do is.
No, it's because if you move, I have to have a good grip on this
Okay,
one.
you got a good grip?
Yeah, I got a good grip. Yeah. No, I haven't had any. I have not even popped. The only thing I've been drinking is milk, water, and then Crystal Light.
I had a big thing of orange juice because I didn't eat yesterday.
Yeah, for some reason.
But I found an entire 1 liter one.
we're going on to escape number 2. So again, so just get up to the end of number 1 here, where I've done this, and we've got the post here. Okay. Number 2, what I have to do is try to dig my right knee underneath them. So right now, this is way on the wrong side of me, right? So I need to switch over to the other side by tripping it onto my right side now, and I need to get my knee underneath him. But you see right now, you can't see, but later on when you change the angle, you'll see that his knee is blocking my entry. So I have to create a little bit of space, trip out, and then knee dig in. Knee dig in. Okay, because otherwise I can't get the knee in. Once I got the knee dig in, then the idea is I can scissor his leg, and that's a broken hold down now. Okay, so you've got to work with your partner depending on where his knee ends up here. If his knee happens to be way back here, then yeah, I could just slide in no problem with my knee dig. But if his knee is there, I'm going to hit that knee, and so I need to create a bit of a detour to circle around that knee. Okay, so from the other side, Kelly. Okay. So, number 1, bang. Number 2, grip up, grip up, and then go in to get that knee. Okay. For me, to create the space that I want, I actually grab his belt area and shrimp, using that as my push away. So I have created more space between us, and then I have more room to do the knee dig. So after doing number 1, escape here, flip over to the other side, and did A for the knee dig. Okay, with the goal of trying to get my leg right back. All right, his reaction to that.
So after number 1, if Gord didn't move, I'm happy. I could stay there all day. So he does the first escape there.
So if nothing else happens, I can stay here. This is fine. But Gordon now starts to move and starts to dig that knee in. Well, this is one of the warm-up exercises we just did. If I just stay here and he shrinks away, he's going to get there. So I have to do this. There. And now I'm protected. That knee dig isn't going to do anything.
His timing. He can't sit down after the end of number 1, let's say go back to number 1 here, and try and bridge here. If he was to anticipate and already sit into the scarf hold position here, as I'm trying to do my shrimp away from him, that there. Then it makes no sense for me to do number 2, because all I'm going to do is hit this wall here. So it's timing. He has to allow me enough time to shoot away, so I can decide to go in with a knee here, and then that's where he sits through there in the Kata position. So very much a timing technique. You can't close the door on me early, but as soon as I start to get going on that one, he has to sit through before I can do the leg trap. Okay, so it's timing again, action, reaction. So everybody see his reaction, end result is to sit through, just like he did in the warm-ups. My goal was, again, to try and do a knee dig to go underneath him. Okay, so let's try that one. Anything else?
So one of them, when Gord talks about the timing, something shows up in all the katas, a concept of anticipation. Because of course I know what's coming next. We've done the kata, I know Gord's going to do the knee dig, and then we go on and do the next thing. I can't show that. I have to make my movements as though they're a natural reaction to Gord, rather than, oh, here comes a knee dig. Because sometimes I do that. I think, oh, here's kind of something first, so I'll move early, and then you can tell, well, why did Kelly move? Well, because he made a mistake. He anticipated. Gord said, work on your time. Gord and I worked together for a number of years, and now I'm working with Wes. So they're different bodies and different field, but I know when Gord was doing something, and now when I feel a certain thing, I know if I stay there, he's going to get me. Wes gets me all the time in practice if I'm late, so I have to wait for that feel, and then I go. And that varies partner to partner.
Okay.
After we cover the third escape, we'll come back to your question about the time, the speed, and so on of the 3.
Okay.
Okay, so for now, let's just try number 2 at the end of number 1. You're in a bridge position, and then with a post leg, and then now you have to flip in and try to do the knee dig as your number 2 escape. Okay, here.
His body, stay just like that. His body's facing this way. Yours is facing this way. That's why you have to leg around. You can do this just fine.
So sometimes I see lots and lots of Tories who don't go this far. They go
Here, so they stay right along this axis.
Okay, so here we are. I just finished trying to do my dig, and he just finished sitting through there in the Kata position. That's the end of number 2. For number 3, I'm doing a bridge. So in this case, I happen to keep my grip on the belt. So I'm going to push into him first to try to get a reaction. When he pushes back, that's when I want to bridge back the other way. Okay, so it's going to be an action, reaction. And you gotta see how you want to tip your body over to one side, so you're fully off your back. Or as I say, your backpack is showing toward the front. Then you drop and bridge over to the other side. Okay, that's what OK is trying to do. The end result is to end up in the bridge. For Tori, he's kind of seen this before.
Yeah, very much the same as the very first one. So here, I sat through, Gord's over top, so he's trying to bridge me that way. I've got this leg and this arm, I've got to do the same thing. I have to post in the direction of the bridge. So if I post here, again, he's going to get me. So the big thing is work out what direction your partner is throwing you. That's the direction you have to post.
Okay, so big post here, and that's the end of it. OK would tap, tap, and then Tori and OK would unwind themselves back to the original starting position on the tape player.
Are you moving yourself around again with that one, or are you just letting it go like how we discussed the first
I
one?
found for me, again, maybe it's because I'm smaller, but I find I have to go around the head of my partner a bit more. If I try to go across the chest, then I'm stuck to them. That's when I get in trouble and they roll me over. But if I go a little bit higher, I find I've got more control.
Generally, you'll see the circle, hill around. Okay, some bridging is a little different. Like some guys, when they bridge for me, then I bridge, I'm going right across and try to throw them over here. For other people, it's trying to change the angle a bit and sort of halo them over top, end up in a straight line, and then the two of you log roll on top of each other. It's a little different than the over the shoulder. So I think over the shoulder, the way I do it requires full use of your power of your body. The other one is more of a alignment thing where you try and get your partner lined up and then just log roll around that way. But in all cases, like Kelly says, depends on where your partner is taking you. You have to react in that direction. So that's where it has to be logical as how that post would work. For some judges, they can see, oh yeah, the leg wouldn't have stopped them, and OK would have escaped. Okay, they could sort of anticipate that. So keep in mind that idea that you have to have power to create the reaction by Tori, but not too much power or not too tight, because then you won't be able to demonstrate the three escapes. Okay? The three escapes in general for all the outside combings tends to have the first one having power. The second one actually is a quick entry. And then the third one finishes off with a maximum power. So on this one, the Kata position, if you're here, the first one will require power, second one is big, and the way you're into the third for the bridge. And that's where you maximize the power. The second one generally is a lot quicker than the first and the third.
So from here, I'm going to shrink and do it slowly. Shrink, I'm going to grab, then I'm going to pull. So when I pull, I want you to go ahead and pull.
Next technique is Kata Katame, scarf or shoulder hold. And we'll start off back to the original starting position, which is OK lying on the back. And then Tori applying the Kata Katame.
So on the Kata Katame, again, standard way you teach it in the dojo, nothing fancy. The big thing that I try to focus on is making sure that my head is nice and tight to my partner's head. Because as you'll see, some of the escapes he's trying to do is to open up space between their heads. So I'm going to take his arm, push it across, diagonally across the face rather than down by the throat or up over here, right across the face. Because now I can put my head down on this side. I'll draw a line out from the shoulder. My foot's going to go down there. My knee is closer to his belt. So now I've got a triangle with my feet. I come underneath, palm to palm, no interlace fingers. And nice and low here. And up.
Okay, once you have the signal on, number one escape for Tori is to create space. So to do that, he's going to make a fist with his hand, the right hand. His other hand will be on top of it and not bent like this, but in a straight line. I need to try to bridge and create space. So I need to move myself in for a bridge action but really pump hard against his neck. Okay, he's going to have to, again, the direction of my pump is also to the diagonal, to the corner. I'm not going perpendicular, I'm trying to go to the top corner. So I need to try to get space here so that I can try to twist onto my front. Twist onto my front. So my direction of my force is actually to the corner, and therefore that's the where he has to react to. So as I do number one, I'm going to be doing a pump hard here, but he has to react by changing his position. So he's going to be dropping his knee and blocking that direction altogether. Okay, so he changes his position and cuts off my escape, which is going into the diagonal corner. That's number one. I'm going to jump into number two now because this is going to look kind of familiar again. I'm going to try to do a knee dig. So from here, I'm going to try to get space and dig the knee in. Now this one here, before you generally try to keep that knee along the ground, because his leg is there, you're probably going to have to go up a bit, up and over. So you see the leg come up and then in. So the idea of the knee dig is like before, I need to get space and do the knee dig so that I can do the scissor trap and escape there. Okay? So as soon as he starts to feel the knee dig, what's the reaction from the first one? He's going to sit to there. I can't get that leg through anymore. So the third one is to change my angle from here, a little away from him, okay, and try to do a shoulder flip. So here, try to go to the front. It all just slow motion, but it's just do a shoulder roll over the shoulder, one shoulder. Flip over onto your front. Okay? So that's the third escape attempt. And his reaction to that one is to pull me back so my feet will go from up here back to here. And then that's the end of the three escapes.
So your leg is not up against his, your foot is not up against his body, so it's out then.
Correct. If I'm up here, I'm just not as stable. I let my foot come out a little bit more here. Now I've got a, for me, a better triangle.
Okay. So his knee is against my side, but it's what gives him the best stability in his triangle. For some guys though, the Tory will actually put pressure toward Ukei's chin. So yeah, he puts pressure on, and that's why his hip is up in the air, is that he now has a sloped angle toward the chin, which is downhill. So that creates a lot more force against my chin. Okay, so knee is on the side, other leg is posted to the side. As he said, ear to ear down here, and what Tori or OK will do is to do a couple of thrusts with the elbow. So here, can't get, block that stretch. So now I've got to do a knee dig here, just through. I have to change my angle here, and then he pulls it back, and then I submit, and then we come back around, unwind ourselves back to the original tape position. Okay, so I kind of did three in a row there, but I think you get the rough idea about the knee dig particularly now. And this one, again, just think about straight arms, and punching it into his elbowing his head, basically. Okay, and then the third one, again, you have to flip over. So those are roughly the three escapes of that.
And on the third one, what I see, a lot of Tories here.
Finish off the second one here in the Kaiser position. Uke is trying to flip over top this way. I see Tories either sit back through and pull, or what's also common in Europe is they'll sit through just to here. Because now there's no way that Gordon can pull me over. If I stay here, he can. So that's either pull or down to your side. Either way is fine.
Those are both acceptable?
Yep.
Yeah. The second way is actually, as you said, more common out in Europe. It's easier too, remember we did the split posting idea.
Yeah. Well, it's really simple.
It's simple, yeah.
Slide out.
Okay, on the first one, besides just dropping the knee, are you shifting your body at all?
I tend to shift my angle a little bit. So here's the line, and I'm starting off here. Gord's pushing me that way. If I just drop my knee, I'm still open that way. So I have to drop my knee, but come here. Now I stop the angle. But if I just stay here, it's still open, and he's probably going to be able to get me.
Some competitors post their leg not to the perpendicular, but actually posted to the corner, diagonal corner, which kind of defeats the purpose of trying to get out this way because, okay, he's already posted there. So in that case, you almost have to change the angle and try to get him to come more this way.
Although it does make it easier, because now all I have to do is this.
Yeah.
Holy cow, it's super easy.
Yeah, he drops his knee down. Okay, so go from the straight post to a knee drop, and then basically you're in a shield position. You see here, no, I don't see the knee here.
One, two. I've got to, in order to shrimp, I've got to be able to drop my shoulder. So I get to get in. But if this is up here,
So tight there, right?
okay, here, well, he could hold you up as well.
But if you notice, Gord,
Your hips are still right here.
Yeah. Not like the Kessler.
Oh, so you don't have to move as much.
No, but I have to get out to my side.
a little bit more
So I
on the
have
side.
to, just do, that's about as far as I can probably go with it.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna get the butt all the way. Okay.
But you gotta be on the side, okay?
That's
So
fine.
stay in here and that's it over here. It's really hard to just go here. So you gotta get whatever you can.
I'm gonna
So a simple demonstration of how what the person needs to do to flip over. So keep the line in back. Okay, and just do your simple one shoulder roll, shoulder flip. Okay, so he goes over one arm, go back again. Okay, now the second time he does it, what I'm going to do is just put my hand underneath his neck, okay, and do the same flip. Ah, he's flexible. Most of the time when you lift up the head, the person actually is not able to flip any longer. Okay. You're already spoiled it for me. No. So if you get an average person to do this, the simple action of holding up the head a bit, it really negates the opportunity to do a flip over. So for some guys, when they do the pulling in, they actually lift up a bit too. Because if the head comes off the ground, it's really hard to flip over. Okay, let's move on to the next hold down then. This will be the Kamishio. And of course that's done from the top side, so we'll just take it back from the original position here. And we have Tori applying from the head.
Again, the standard county shield, that way, just like you see at the dojo. Sometimes you'll see, particularly kids, will do a county shield by grabbing hold of the belts and do that to lead the arms. You don't want to do that when come on the outside, so I'm going to be trapping between the shoulders and the elbows. Sliding down so my thumbs can go inside of the belt, but on both sides. Here, and now I can come in nice and tight. And now I've got control over these arms. And here I'm trying to keep my weight down as low as possible. So when I start, I'm not up on my toes because that then takes weight off the uke. So on this one I can go what we call a dead toes. Nice and low. There. Now I'm get some room so they can speak.
Number one, I'm going to try to do a bit of a log roll with him. So the idea is I'm going to try for action-reaction. I want to toss him this way, but I'm actually going to roll the opposite way just to get a reaction. So there's different ways I'm going to clench I'm going to just do my own, grab my own wrist weight and lock them onto my chest. Other people will say you have to put your hands up on the upper toward the belt area here. This way is for me a lot easier because it's right away you're there. Again, we try and lock him onto our chest and move our bodies. So after I do the lock here, I'm going to rock him one way and then try to do the turn, log roll the other way. That's on the assumption that he doesn't do any reaction. That's the idea of this one. Now, some people will say that the roll actually should involve a bit of pulling the head in so that your tori will be rolled over with his head sort of tucked forward a bit, or inwards, I guess it is for him, and then do the roll. But for general purposes, just think of this as a log roll sideways. Okay, so action, reaction. That's number one. His reaction to that will be
Post.
post. Hand or leg?
Leg.
Yes.
There you go.
Just the leg.
Because what's his hands?
You gotta-
Oh yeah, it's grab and hold
His
of it,
hands are
yeah.
still holding here. Okay, so we're going to try that one with a leg post as a reaction. Okay, so he applies it on. Ties your post. Okay, that stops that. Number two is a hand dig. So I'm going to have to go back the other direction and try to go in and underneath so that I end up on my front. Again, the hand dig is coming underneath, in between us to try to create space, such that, again, you're driving through and you're trying to end up twisting onto your front to do the escape. So that's number two, is a hand dig. So as I do the hand dig here, to twist here, he's going to react. He's going to shut that door that I'm going out that way by changing his body position and slamming me down there. Okay? So now that's broken off there, and I guess we're turning the other way right now from where we started. But number three is that we're going to try to create space again. So in this case here, I'm going all the way back, and we're going to go down that original line that we're on. Again, right now we flipped around the other way, that's why it looks kind of odd. I need to create space by trying to push away from him. So I'm going to try to move my hip that way and put my hands this direction. So try to move away to get some space. Once I have space, then I'm going to change from this to the armpit area here and try to flip right over with a back flip and a get out. I don't write these things. This is what is documented in the Kata textbook.
Yeah.
Okay, so that would be the number three escape attempt. What's he going to do? Pull you back. So someone like the other one, just pull you back. So you're going to be sort of halfway up in the air, and then you're going to get pulled back. And that's the end of that one. Okay, you might not even get that far in terms of the bridge, the backflip. It's difficult.
I think I've seen it done once in a turn.
Yeah.
So someone successfully escaped using this, yeah.
Now, in competition, again, a lot of this is, I'm going to use the word faked, because Tori does not want to lose control. So if he doesn't let Uke get his hand from here and he keeps chasing him, and Uke tries to do a flip with his head right here underneath me, then I would say there's no hope that he's going to get over. He needs to have space away from Tori, but then for judges, they say too much space looks like this guy's lost control, and you might get deducted there. So you have to sort of keep control, try the flip, shoulder pull, and tap down, and then reset, come back to the original start position.
On the first one, Kelly, are you just posting or like the leg, or are you shifting a bit too, or you just need to post?
I post and I shift a little bit too.
All right.
Yeah. So for Tori on this one, it could be back to your warm-up exercise. as he's getting pulled over to number one, he pulls here. As soon as the new bit goes here, he'll come back here, or flatten right down, depending on where this leg goes. And then he has to square up and release him down the center line, and then end up pulling it in and doing the splits one more time.
So when you slide in, or you slide in, then you drop the toes for dead toes. And then as soon as that's an indicator that you've applied it. And then you go back onto your live toes when you're shooting out to post.
Correct.
Okay. And you stay on your toes for the rest of it until the end.
So the first one to say is just a standard leg post here.
Okay, so here, bang, post there. Okay. Number two, I try to dig out this way, he's got to block that exit, so he's got to shift.
So one of the things that you used to see quite frequently, teams would just do this. One of the things that it's way more common now, somebody told us with the code down, I need to block board with my chest. So if I just come out here, he's still going to be able to roll underneath me. Get away. So here, I'm going to block with my chest. I still got my leg going out at an angle rather than 90 degrees. And now with tight chest to chest, he's not going to be able to roll.
So you drop.
Yeah,
Okay.
he lowers his balance, so he's very on top of you. Just like when you first apply the technique, you see how low you get your body, that's why you go dead toe, that's why you split your knees, get your weight down. And then after that, the action happens, he's got to be mobile, he's got to be able to flow from one direction to the other. But on that second one there, as it says, block that entrance by getting your weight down. And that style where we put the leg back is seen more often, I would say.
It used to be you shoot one out and then the other out, now you drop it?
Correct.
But before it used to be up, up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And your feet stay in live toes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and then the third one is just down the center. Once he tries to do the flip, just pull yourself in, and you still do the splits, don't you?
Yeah, you'll see two ways of doing it. Where people will going straight down here and then out. And of course, they just pull them in. You'll see some teams just do this, and other teams will pull in, but then they're almost tripod. They come in wide, pushing with the forehead down here with the chest and bottom.
Okay. The tripod way was the more common way, but again, we're seeing variations in the reaction nowadays. So as we said, Tori's ways are not prescribed. It could flow as long as it makes sense. Okay. Okays, you have to try those 3 prescribed escapes.
Now the thing is, you push. The legs are supposed to come up and slam down.
Yeah, well, you're supposed to slam down. I'm going up here.
Now you're up, and then I pull in.
So am I like here? Yeah, over. I can't do
Yes, there.
because it would be.
So the Yoko Chiyo is an older style. It's a little bit different than what you probably teach at the dojo. You're moving the arm out of the way. You're taking your left hand, because I want to try to control the belt. So pushing the belt down towards the hip. I'm going to come between my partner's legs along the ground and hold the belt this way. So this is a little bit different than what we normally teach. The other hand then is going to come up and thumb inside on the collar. I like to go high, like right around the shoulder rather than back here. Now I've got control over the shoulder here, not so much. Here and here. You can't see my feet, but I'm dead toes. I'm going to sink down, turn my head to the side rather than chin into the ribs.
Does it matter which way?
Generally this way. So if I this way, well, you'll see it'll make a difference for the first escape. If I have this way, I'm going to get my nose smushed. Okay.
Either way, you're going to get smushed.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so what the signal is given, 2 hands for okay to try and push his body toward my legs. So I try and get my hand on the shoulder, armpit area and on the neck, and I try to push and hook. This is the traditional escape for that one. Okay, but as I do this, he's going to react. So as I start to bring this up, he drops his head down. So now I can't get around that head. So I might give him a couple of wraps, attempts to here. It doesn't work. Number 2 is a knee dig. So this time I got a chance to go for the belt. I'm going to create space so that I can dig my knee in and get the strap out of the way. His reaction is going to be sit through. Okay?
I've got a choice. I can sit through either direction.
Okay, so I'm going to do a knee dig here. He's going to do a sit through. He did a reverse set of the cast out position. So for me, my number 3 escape is to try to bridge. But in this case here, I'm going to log roll bridge it. So I'm going to go across my body, and then he's going to post with his head. As he mentioned, if his number 2 reaction is different, so if I try to do a knee dig here, and he sits through Kata that way, then I'm back to the regular bridging, where I'm going to go in and try to circle over top this way, and he's going to post react that way. Okay, so those two, the last 2 you kind of seen before. That's why it shouldn't take too much time. The knee dig is number 2, and number 1 is try to do the leg hook, and his reaction to the leg hook in this case was to drop his head downwards to the mat. Other teams will react by moving their head toward the head area, so it's a little farther for me to reach with this leg. Either way is fine. Generally, you'll see a couple of attempts to try to get the leg hook. So a couple. All right.
Yeah, so I've reacted, but I could do it poorly, or I could make a mistake. Or I could put my head down and think, oh, that's over, and lift my head back up. So Luke is going to try a couple of times, just to see if there's a mistake he can capitalize on.
Okay.
If not, okay, on to the next one.
Okay.
On this one, okay, usually it has to turn one way or the other way. Don't know why, but they want to see it turn. Yeah. Okay, so that's a quick one on the Yokoshia. We only have a minute or so on that one. Again, we might have to review that one next time. So number 1 is the head hook. Number 2 is the knee dig. 3 is a bridge with a lock roll on the shoulder.
Here, trying to go here.
So what I think, so get yourself in a position.
He's going to try it.
I've been trying to have this in the box down. I'm going to stick my head down and zen. Yeah. There, exactly. Now you're on top of him. He's going to be pushing down.
I'll pick this up again on the next session. Osai-kumi is where we spend most of our time in the Katame no Kata. The other ones you'll find goes a lot quicker, the chokes and the arm locks. So we'll have lots of time to do that. Okay? Again, thank you.